It is the Morning Brew with Friends. We have a wonderful Tuesday morning show. We got our friend Mayor Richard J. Barry here, and he's going to be joined in a minute by Patricia Nye, the Vice President of Community Development for Wells Fargo Bank. We also have Jess Danielle and Liz Brown from AIG and New Mexico, and Evan King, a storyteller with Code 4 ABQ, Deborah Hasse, a librarian at Albuquerque, Bernalillo County, and then Nick Williams from Plug Solar, along with Gene Bernstein of Flying Star, on a giant Tuesday morning on the Morning Brew with Friends. Busy morning here on the Morning Brew. Thanks for coming on, Mr. Mayor.
What a beautiful morning.
Right?
Oh,
and
gosh.
you hadn't seen the new show, the new set. What do you think of this?
It's very nice. You know, this whole studio has been great for our community. The whole process with UPublic has been great. You know, when we first did it a couple of years ago, it was controversial because it was a change. But boy, what a great change it's been, and the great energy and, of course, great program.
Well, we appreciate we're able to bring on lots of fun people, have lots of fun guests every morning here on the show. We love it.
Yeah.
But I want to pick your brain since we have you on about some of the more interesting stuff going on, some of the newsier stuff. I know that last night the City Council voted to end the Downtown Action Team's Business Improvement District. That's been the special tax assessment. And it's basically based on square footage of your building downtown. You pay an extra assessment, and that pays for the clean and safe team downtown. And I want to get your thoughts on that. First of all, I know the bid's been kind of broken for a minute.
Well, these business improvement districts are important because what it really means is the business owners in a certain area of any city, whether it's Albuquerque, Denver, Los Angeles, invest with each other to make sure that their neighborhood is clean and that it looks good and that it's welcoming. And so we know they're important. The particular bid downtown's had some strife over the last number of years. Not all the members are on the same page with how they want to run that. Last night the council went ahead and did away with the city's legal form of the bid because the city is the facilitator of that.
You guys have been collecting the money.
Yes, with the hopes that everybody will get together and recreate it in a way that's acceptable to everybody.
I think a lot of people were worried that the downtown ambassadors, people we've grown to count on downtown, were going to go away. But it's my understanding the city's going to be paying the $400,000 a year to pay for them. Am I right?
We'll step in the meantime. You know, we don't want to do that long term, but we think it's important, and we're doing a lot of great, exciting things downtown. From the grocery store to the convention center to all the things that are happening. And so we want to make sure that it's in place, but we have a lot of confidence that the partners will get together and figure this out.
It shouldn't take too much, right?
Well, it's taken a couple of years to get to this point. It's like anything else. It's you just need people to sit down at the table and work it out.
Right. Do you think?
And we're here to help facilitate that. But on one hand, these are private business owners. They have to get it figured out.
Do you think this is the kind of thing? I know Nob Hill's thinking about a bid. The guys, it's been floated in the uptown area too. You think this is the kind of they should be worried about this, or was there a teaching moment for them?
Well,
in this?
I think there's always lessons learned, right? I mean, Denver's got an interesting model for their business improvement districts. This one was a little bit different. It was based on size versus street frontage. We just hope that they would go out and look at best practices around the country, figure out where it's working, and come to agreement. We love the idea of doing it in other parts of the city because it really is a public-private partnership where we've got our police and firefighters out there doing great work, and if these business owners can put together some kind of a levy against themselves to make sure that their business district looks great, it's a positive for everybody.
And another thing I want to ask you about this morning is capital outlay. I know that was one of the things you and I have talked about this before because the legislative session, they didn't get through the whole process this year. That and the tax package are the two big things the legislative body couldn't pass. You signed on with 50 other mayors and sent a letter off to
Actually
the governor.
Worked with Mayor Hull and we crafted that letter.
Actually, it was Mayor Rio Rancho, Mayor Hull.
Yeah, Mayor Hull and I worked on that letter, and we sent it to the Municipal League, and we asked them to send it out to other mayors around the state and see who would like to sign on to it. And
everyone did.
Over the weekend, 51 mayors signed on to this. And I think the reason that the mayors signed on is because we live in, people live in cities for the most part. I come from a rural background, but most folks live in an urban, or city or townships. And mayors understand that it's important to do this. And of course, the letter's really written in from an encouraging standpoint. We know it's going to be difficult. We know there's going to have to be compromise. I spent 2 terms in the state legislature myself before being mayor.
You know how the sausages are made in that factory,
I know
right?
how it works.
Yeah.
And so we basically said to the leadership of the House and the Senate, listen, get together, do the work outside of a special session rather than having it cost us $50,000 a day to have you hash it out. Get together, hash it out. I believe that's happening. Whether it's very public or not, I think there's there's probably discussions going on. Make sure that the governor's folks are included as well. Get something figured out, get together, do a quick special session up and down, and if they want to include the tax package and other things, they'll make that determination. But it's important. And we just said, we believe in you. We know it's tough, but it is vital for all of us. So please get out there and get it done.
I know that Mayor Hull, he and I talked, he's looking for just 4 police cars and an ambulance for Rio Rancho. In Albuquerque, you know, we had almost $1 million in the epicenter downtown. What are some of the other things that we're hoping capital outlay would pay for?
You know, there's just lots of things. I mean, capital outlay is important because that is how your tax dollars get back to your main street. Whether it's street and road repairs, repairs to public buildings, Little League fields, you know, you name it. We had $1 million, as you said, in the epicenter, which is the Noonday Ministries building that's now been turned into a community center for entrepreneurship.
Right, it's got a commercial kitchen and everything there.
Yeah, and there's going to be great, exciting things happening there. So it is important. But it's interesting, capital outlay, when I was in the legislature, there's a lady, Linda Keogh, that runs that program. And there's some improvements that need to be made. What happens a lot of times is legislators will put in $50,000 towards a $2 million project, and that'll sit there for year after year until they get it there, and there's a lot of money languishing. You don't want that to happen. So I think there's the smart legislators and those who I think really understand it are starting to think about how can we do this in a way where the dollars get set aside for projects, but then get spent in a reasonable amount of time. How can we consolidate? So there's some interesting things that can happen in New Mexico with capital outlay, and I think as a mayor and as a former legislator, I'd like to see them happen that way.
All right, we got just about 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
New city attorney approved last night.
Yep.
She sounds awesome.
Jessica Hernandez, what a amazing addition to our staff at the city of Albuquerque. She works for the mayor. She works for all 9 councilors. Great background from a legal standpoint, and we're excited to have her.
That sounds like a plan. We're going to be back in a couple of seconds with the mayor. We're going to talk about some housing projects you're working on with Wells Fargo Community Development. It should be great. All in the Morning Brew with friends.